What's up, Foxden? Fox here, and today we are taking a look at the GTX 650 Ti. Join the Foxden Discord down below. And if you like my content, consider subscribing. So the GTX 650 Ti that I have today has 1 GB of VRAM at GDDR5, so that will be the main limiting factor. It has 768 CUDA cores, a 928 MHz boost clock, requires one 6-pin power connector, has a recommended power supply of 400 watts, and connects via DVI. So I am calling this the wow, I can't believe it's not desperation card, because you are going to be paying over the odds for a 1 gig card. If you are buying this, it is because there is nothing else available. There are much better options out there, including probably a Ryzen 2200G. At least that one is modern and up to date. But we're here to review the 650 Ti, and I will save the rest of my judgment until after we get through the benchmarks, which are starting right now. The first game on our list was Fallout 4. At 1080p at the low settings, we saw an average frame rate of 44, a 1% low of 20, and a 0.1% low of 9. Now, this generally isn't a good sign. And the reason why I say that is because Fallout 4 came out in 2014, almost 6 years ago. So if a game from 6 years ago cannot run on this graphics card at 60 FPS, then do not expect anything more recent to run at 60 FPS. With that said, I'm going to eat my own words right after, because Rainbow Six, at the low settings, at 1600 by 900, we did have to lower the resolution, ran on an average frame rate of 60 with a 1% low of 31 and a 0.1% low of 30. So, definitely not the worst experience in the world, and the only time you'll see significantly lower frame rates is if you're outside on maps, which are typically in spawn areas, but in actual buildings themselves, you're going to see very respectable frame rates. This card is definitely going to be relegated to esports titles. If it runs Rainbow Six, it's going to run Counter-Strike, and it's also going to run Valorant perfectly fine. Keeping it old school, we had GTA 5, the story mode, and we saw an average of 85 FPS. Now, this was with everything on normal and MSAA off. I thought about turning the settings up, and I just decided to turn MSAA on, and that cut the frame rate, even at 2x, a whopping almost 40-50%. I mean, it was insane. So I decided to keep it off. So what you're seeing is what you're getting. You could likely turn the settings up to high, not all of them, but maybe texture resolution. But even at the regular settings that I used here, we were already exceeding the 1 GB limit for memory. I don't know what I was thinking when I was like, let's try out Doom Eternal, because it ran awful. We are talking an average of 17.6, so luckily for Doom Eternal, we can round up to 18 FPS. And it was looking hopeful at first. When you're climbing up walls and not in combat-intensive situations, you'll get above 30 FPS. However, that was not the case when you're actually in combat. You will see 12 FPS if there are more than 2 enemies in your way, with a 1% low of 11 and a 0.1% low of 10. The very least you could say is that it ran pretty consistently, but what the heck? The Witcher 3 next, although demanding, at the low settings with low post-processing, we saw an average frame rate of 37 with a 1% low of 19 and a 0.1% low of 18. So not the absolute worst experience in terms of 1% and 0.1% lows, but definitely far from the best. With that said, though, considering just how demanding The Witcher 3 is, I'm very surprised that it ran as well as it did on this card. Now, the next 2 games I had some issues with, so I apologize that they're a little bit different than our normal benchmarks. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I didn't run MSI Afterburner after playing for 5 minutes, because I was just like, you know what, the benchmark is going to give me the average frame rate anyway, and this was running terribly. As you can tell, we were getting a whopping 9 FPS average at 720p on the lowest possible settings. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is actually pretty optimized, so I just was pretty unimpressed with this result, but it was fun to watch. What is usually a 2 to 3 minute benchmark took about twice as long, just in case you're curious. So Fortnite next. At the low settings with 80% resolution scale of 1080p, we saw 60-ish FPS. Now the benchmark software would not run even though MSI Afterburner ran, so I wasn't able to record it itself. However, I would guess that the 0.1% low and even the 1% low were pretty dang low, because there was a whole lot of micro stutter throughout. So I am talking probably below 10 on both 1% and 0.1% lows. Otherwise, the frame rate itself was actually very good, sometimes going up to the 90s, but that just wasn't the case all the time, and the micro stutter made it very, very hard to play. But even so, I must have been playing against bots, because I'm not good at Fortnite, and I was winning. And I know that Fortnite put in bot support a while ago, so it always makes me feel bad. But that's okay. And that was the GTX 650 Ti. Now, if you still have a GTX 650 Ti, I'm not ragging on you. If you are enjoying your time with esports titles and some older AAA games, more power to you. I think that is awesome. If you are looking for a graphics card to hold you over until the 30 series comes back in stock and the silicone shortage stops, and this is the only option you have, then get it. But it is going to be overpriced for what you're getting. And on top of that, it does not run well. Like I said, this is probably comparable performance to a Ryzen APU. So you probably shouldn't even go back. CPUs are still in stock, at least in America. And going for the 2200 or 3400G, depending on your price range, will likely result in just as good, if not better results, depending on what games you're playing. It'll also run modern games that need DirectX 12. As of right now, because I just wanted to check to make sure, I don't want to be classist in my videos. If all you can afford is a 680 or a 650 Ti, go for it. But on eBay, they're going for $87.99, $89.99. These things are worth $40 at most. At most. In a normal world, maybe 30. This is just absolutely outrageous. Shit, there are so many better options that you could do with $60. Go buy a used Xbox 360. Shit, at least it's got optimization on its side. You can probably get that for $60. I cannot believe the price that they're charging for this thing. And it is 1 gig. I'm afraid to look at what the 2 gig model is like. For $20 more, you can get a GTX 750 Ti, which although it is an absolute top of the range these days, I would definitely recommend over a 650 Ti. The 650 Ti is just about to end its driver support, although so is the 700 series. 700 series does support DirectX 12, I think. Don't quote me on that. It may only support DirectX 11, but a GTX 750 Ti has 2 gigs of VRAM, and it is just a better deal throughout. Even a GTX 950 for $115, that's steep for a 950, but if you're willing to make your budget stretch a little bit further, anything what this 650 Ti will do. Look at AMD's pricing, see if there's anything reasonable from AMD that performs better than a 650 Ti. A 650 Ti is just not something you should pick up today. Again, if you have a 650 Ti because you're waiting for the 30 series to come back in stock, or maybe go secondhand with a 10 series graphics card, totally fine. Do what you can with what you have, but don't buy this if you are looking for a graphics card. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, like, subscribe, check out my gaming channel, do what you usually do, and as always, buy yourself something nice.